Recording in progress.
Hello again. Gonna try and get another game. Got a little bit of time today, and I'm gonna enjoy some chess. So we get a D4. I'm gonna go with a Indian setup, maybe Grunfeld. Go with the Grunfeld. The old reliable. E3, reinforcing D4. Not super familiar with the theory there, but it seems a little bit passive. So I prepared to fianchetto, kiddo. Might as well just follow through with that idea. And he opens up his bishop for the diagonal as well. Makes sense, having played e3, that he might want to do that. So let's get castled. Get castled, and then I think I might want to break with c5. If I break with c5 and he takes, and I go queen to a5, my threatening. I think c5 is the move. Of course, you could take here first, and then I take, and um, there's still pressure on d4. The dangerous thing for him to open up the center with like his king still in the middle. He has not developed, so he does go that direction. I'm threatening knight e4 now. Um, Queen d2, like it breaks the pin. It prevents knight here because the knight takes would defend the queen. Although queen d2, knight here, knight takes, and I pick up the dark square bishop. So it's an even piece trade. Okay, he keeps my knight out. Good idea. Good idea. But am I threatening it anyway? Because if I go here, he takes, and I take, and he takes, and I take, he's still kind of in a bad way. I get two pieces, he gets two pieces, and his king is going to be stuck in the middle because he'll have to move up or back. He can move back this way. Guarding with the queen loses the rook, so he could move back, and I'm left with a bishop, knight here, pawn takes, bishop takes, queen takes, check, king here. Then what? My queen's up there. It's a target for his rapid development. Hmm. Always got just picking up my pawn as well. That's another option. It's not as fun, messy, but it is an option. Rook d8. Maybe that just provokes the queen over to protect the knight and bishop. Let me calculate this one more time. Knight here, pawn takes, bishop takes, queen takes, check, king f2. Hmm. Oh, opponent is pressuring me for fast play. If you want fast play, then you should play shorter time controls. This is to think. I play longer time controls to think. I'm sorry, friend. I want to think about my moves. Um, what do I do here? Um, I don't like that position because my queen ends up as a target up here without anything else developed. And I think I kind of lose my advantage a bit if I have even an advantage now. But taking here, it does attack this, and I think that that's the way to go. Yeah, just win my pawn back. Win my pawn back and create a new threat of capturing the e pawn. Right, he defends. Now I can take on c file, but that helps him develop. Um, Other ideas are bring the rook to the d file, develop the knight. If I develop the knight and c takes, knight takes, knight takes, bishop takes, knight takes check, queen takes, queen takes. Hmm. Knight development feels right. So I could be jumping in here. We're supporting this push. I'm going to develop the knight. It might look like he can take this pawn, but knight takes, knight takes. If bishop takes first, um, I back up. I back up the knight. With the rook. I suppose I take with the bishop first here. If he takes the knight, I take the bishop. This as well. I suppose taking with the knight makes more sense rather than taking with the queen because I'm maintaining pressure here. But he took the bishop. So now I take with the queen. And now maybe I develop, let's see. I've got to protect the queen, get the queen out of the way. I can check. Good check. Seems like a good move. Blocks. And then maybe I've got knight into b4, threatening a check on c2. Maybe. It's a very symmetrical position now. So it's looking kind of drawish. I'm coming here to attack the a pawn. If he moves the rook, I check. The queen will be pinned. And after a trade of queens, then I pick up the rook, I get the exchange. So he can push the pawn twice, add 2 squares, and weaken the b pawn and give me a target with the b pawn. Develops his bishop to protect, and I can split the pawns. Maybe that's the idea. Okay, he brings his rook over here to keep the knight out of the check. If I take the pawn with the knight, I attack the rook, he pins the knight. Oh well, he just takes the queen, actually. Just a loss of the queen. So he's also threatening to come down here and then double attack the rook, the knight anyway. What about developing my rook? Let's get the rook in the game. Threaten the queen. Now I'm threatening rook a to c8. And the bishop guards the square. I have Luft for the king, so the queen's kind of a target right here. And if the queen comes off of this diagonal, I have a nice discovery. My pieces are developed and he's still pretty slow. So all right, he attacks my knight. That just lets me win a clean pawn, I think. He attacks, then I win this pawn as well. So I think that's just a free pawn. There's no more discover on the king, though, but I've got pressure on his rook. Pressure on this pawn. Okay, he develops the bishop. Now takes check. My queen would be hanging. What about checking now? The bishop could take. Rook takes bishop. Queen takes check. So bishop takes, rook takes. And then I pick back up the exchange here, so with check, and I think I'm going to pick this pawn up very soon after. And I'm going to have a nice protected pass pawn chain over here. Let's give one more check just to try and bait the king into moving, and now we'll pick up the other pawn. Oh, he does need to get his pieces active, so I can't blame him. That's a good try. But I think if I just take and he takes, and then I save my bishop, where do I bring the bishop back to now? I take the queen, he takes my queen. I bring the bishop back here. He attacks with the rook. I bring the bishop back. No, let's just get the queens off the board. Start running with these pawns. He might get one of these, attacking the bishop and then dropping his rook to the 7th. Well, there's that. think I'll just attack the knight. And where do I want my bishop? Back here. Check the pawn here. He doesn't have anywhere to bring the knight. Knight needs to be here. Back here. Does that. I bring the rook over. He attacks my bishop and I attack his rook. He drops the rook with check. I lift the king and then he picks up the bishop, takes, and the pawn. And I'm down to one pawn up, but one pawn is still one pawn. So maybe I don't do that. Maybe I just keep his knight out of this square. That's probably the best idea. Just keep his knight out of the square. Maybe I can just run now. He's got some problems to worry about. 4 moves. He's got to get inside the square. And then I could maybe just pin the knight. I don't understand that move. I guess he's going to take here, maybe. But that's not enough time. I'll sacrifice this pawn because there's no stopping this one. He might get his pawn, he might get his rook back just in time. But my king is going to clean up these pawns because he's going to have to get his king over to corral this one. There's no way I lose this. There might be a more accurate way to play that, but I guess I probably should look for it. My end game is a struggle, so be able to shoulder his king. Hmm. I might have just messed that up. Although I might have some waiting moves here with pawns. Oh, he's let me gain some space here. Oh, I think that was a mistake. Maybe like he needed to try and use up the waiting moves so that he could maintain the opposition. He's let me in now, and I think this is a win. I wasn't sure a second ago, and I wasn't fast enough on the shouldering of the king. I should have calculated that better too. End game. My end game needs some work. I clearly had the advantage with that outside pass pawn, but I'm kind of bungled that, and I should be able to convert those positions a little bit easier. Because I think my opponent, without calculating, maybe he had a draw there. Maybe he still does with waiting moves now, but I don't know. No, I don't think so, because even if he gets to move the king again, he can't take the opposition without abandoning. He can't. He would abandon this pawn. I have this waiting move with the king that will still attack the pawn, and he doesn't ever get to mine in time. So good game, friend. I I'm gonna be careful here because I think. Well, I guess it doesn't really matter because if I go here and he goes here, I've still got this waiting move. Could have gone here, I guess. I think any move wins, honestly, because my king is already in prime position. Well, be interested to go back and see how I could have converted that A pawn a little bit better, the advantage from it. I know I clearly had an advantage. Um, I'm not sure if white ever did. Maybe. But my opponent is certainly willing to take his time and think about things now. Uh, Maybe he's a little disgruntled and just using clock. I don't know. But I think this game is clearly one for black. So if they've come to that same conclusion, they may just be wasting the time um, out of spite. And that's unfortunate, but sometimes you do run into that. He could genuinely be calculating. He could be trying to figure out if it's savable, but I don't believe it is. This is lost positionally because he allowed my king up there. Yeah, I do think at this point he's probably just wasting time. Unfortunate. So let's go back and look at. So that was um, just while while he's thinking about things, we can go back and look at some moves. And maybe that move was a little bit the king here, maybe king back instead to just still be one square away from this. I don't know what he does in response to that. His rook can never leave the back rank. Um, so the king here, I think that was a mistake on my part. King going back here. Um, let's look back a little further and just kind of do a little playthrough. Oh, okay. Opponent moved. Opponent did move. And now I have this move. And that's um, all she wrote. He can go here and abandon the pawn and give up that pawn. But I get this move. And now there's no stopping the queen because I can go here and just escort. And here I'm going to maintain opposition just to just to keep this pawn from running. Um, can't stop them both. Don't even know if you can stop one of them, but Well, I suppose if I didn't have that other pawn, like, but I do, so. Abandoned. He abandoned the game. Well, good game, friend. Is it going to let me do another review, or have I already used up? No, I haven't. Yes, I have used my free game review for the day, so we'll be doing just regular old school analysis, which is probably better for me, honestly. We're in a Grunfeld. Um, this Schlechter Makogonov Makogonov variation. I posted on this one before. I think that sounds familiar, or that looks familiar. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly. But white has a very slight edge here. Black had an edge. Queen A5 was not the move. It was knight E4 immediately here. And I have essayed that before, I'm pretty sure. Um, so knight E4 immediately, but I mean, the queen move is not a bad move. Gives a slight edge. But black has a significant edge from here. Taking the pawn was okay. Bishop takes B2 is the move. Queen takes. Black still has a 0.8 edge. Oh, I did like this knight move. Okay. So knight b4 is the move. Attacking the pawn. Nice. Best move. Wants me to go rook d8 here, which I do. Finding some really good moves. White has an overwhelming edge, almost 5 points material. But material's even. This is an even like material game, but my position is overwhelming. Queen c3 is the move for him, and he finds that. And bishop e6, which I find. So I'm playing some good positional. For all of my talk on tactics, I do find positional games very fun and easy to play, and um, I might be more of a positional player than I let on sometimes. So, okay, that wasn't the best move, but it was still a good move. Bishop takes c4 is the best move. Um, well, I'm not sure I like that a whole lot. I'll have to analyze that a little deeper. But black still has a crushing advantage. And like it's whittled down to almost to three points on the eval bar. But I have two connected passed pawns, and I kind of bungle this a little bit. And I'm curious where, because two pawns could be a heck of an advantage. And I do it with this king walk. I'm still 3.6 up. And that move right there, I already identified the move. That gives up significant advantage. And I should have gone just h5. I mean, I have pawns to move over here. I don't have to move the king. Any move would have been better than the one I did. Almost any move. So, I mean, and now we're at a dead Oh, white even has the edge. White has an edge here. Oh, wow. I did not think that was possible at all. But with pawns off the board, or with rooks off the board, white is up here, and I've given up all of my advantage. White is a winning edge by just playing king c3. He does. Still has the edge, and backing the king up was a huge mistake. Huge mistake because he has the opposition, and his pawn moves are flexible enough to force my king to back off. Ouch. I've said it many times. My end game needs work. I need to really focus on some end game work if I want to improve as a chess player. My opponent blundered by allowing my king back up in here, and that's the only reason I won the game. After having a crushing, overwhelming position, my opponent's blunder uh, allowed me to win. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. I know it was a fairly long game, so I'll cut it short here. But thanks for watching, and come back and enjoy some more.